Good evening, I'm Zoraganard. Welcome to my studio. So, tonight, Twitch is playing up. So tonight, one of the things I'm going to do, I think, is now to work on these teeth. Take them below the gum line, because I'm quite easily happy with the gum line as it is. So we'll make the teeth be inside the gum rather than outside. So we'll be doing that power-wise. So we're going to be turning a lot of wood into a lot of sawdust again. So I'll just get some of the things I need. Excuse me. Yes, you're going to be awkward, aren't you? That is the only problem. Well, it's a problem, honestly the only one, of switching between different crafts is you end up knitting with all the cables and things. Because it's just taken me about 10 minutes to change the setup. Because for the magic dots, this camera is mounted on this desk here. But for carving, it's mounted on that desk over there, so that when I do this, the camera doesn't bother. But that means I've got to have it low, so that it doesn't move. Sorry, so that I have this desk low, so that camera can see. Ah well. So. Have I just turned that off? I probably did, yes. Kind of a little point in actually doing what I just did, but I was just tidying up some wood that was not quite in the right place. So I could now do with another paintbrush, because using the same paintbrush for this and for pyrography, it leaves wood dust in the pyrography. Which isn't good. Well, it's not so good because the wood dust then sticks to the pyrographic tool. Okay, one down, a lot more to go. This isn't particularly a difficult job. I mean, there's some level of control over the tool, but you know, now that effectively I've done it in the right order, so that I can see exactly where the teeth are, and therefore it makes it an easy job. Hello, Wolfie. Yeah, Twitch is a bit off tonight. I can't update my categories tonight, so... You went 9 win, 1 loss. Well, that's not bad going. Yes, I know it's not 10 win, 0 lost, but it's better than 8 win, 2 lost. Oh, I so just thought I should have got the air drill out tonight with this bit in it, because the air drill is a dentist drill. I'm carving teeth. Now that would have been appropriate. Got some weird ridges forming there, but we'll sort that out afterwards. Indeed, it is better than a 7-3. You see, you've been positive already. So for anybody that was watching just before the start of the stream, I hope you were checking out Egypt. There was a glass blower because I was hosting him. Just some quite interesting work. Seems to be a lot of smoking apparatus that he does. I guess in the States, or some places in the States, that's a big money earner for them. But what I will do is get one of the chisels out and we'll sharpen up some of those edges. But we'll do that after I've done all the teeth. Okay, so tops of the teeth kinda done. We'll take another look when we go at it with a chisel. In a minute, I'm going to do the bottom set in the same way. But just making sure I have something to drink so I don't get dehydrated. Which is something I have to watch, given that I get migraines from time to time. Still have not decided what to do with that. Anybody who's watching, if you've got any thoughts as to whether it should be there or not, please let me know. I am starting to lean towards it not being there, just because then it's balanced and there's just the Gibberer. But equally you could say it's part of the game in that, you know, there's a jewel in that corner. I don't know. I'm as yet undecided. I'm fiddling with details. I'm fiddling with details. He says about to go and do the teeth. Ah, well. Yeah, I need to do some work with the chisel. Stay. Okay. Well, I wasn't intending to go anywhere, but I know I am kind of just concentrating on doing this at the moment. I'm not really saying a great deal, which I suppose is not very good. Either or you think I'm a dog. I used to have a dog a long time ago. It was called Patch, a Jack Russell. Actually didn't have it for very long. Got given to my grandparents to keep their Jack Russell company. I remember it's called Patch because it had a brown patch over one eye. It looked like he was wearing an eye patch. Two teeth there on the bottom, all the rest to go. I didn't do that very well. I'm glad I'm not this fella's dentist. He's got far too many awkward teeth for me to, for my liking. I'm getting tired of these teeth. Kinda want them to be over with, so what I've got to be careful of now is I don't do something silly. Because I am getting tired of them, I've got to be really careful I don't, I still continue to take care and don't just go bang, in an effort to speed it up. Anybody need any teeth filling while I'm in practice? Right, let's get a vacuum on that so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to mute the microphone while I do this so I don't deafen you. I am unmuted, Wolfie. You sure your mic? You sure your speakers are okay? A little sort of ninja movement there. Thank you. Oh dear, I haven't been saying much. I was just referring to how you need to make sure that the work doesn't control what you do. You make the work do what you want it to do. As in this particular case where I wanted a line in a particular place and the knife kept slipping slightly inboard of that. And I could have just gone, no, I'll leave it at that. But I wanted it there, and so, you know, I was going to have it there. I had to be careful not to put my finger on the bottom of this blade. It is sharp enough to cut me. Quite easily. Now the thing about blades is they only cut when there's a relative movement between the blade and what it's cutting, which is why I can do that, and I can actually press quite hard and have no worry about cutting myself, and that's okay. But I wouldn't press that way because then there'd be a relative movement. Similarly, I can get my thumb alongside here and I can carve like this all day. And indeed use a box cutter just like that. You take a blade and you run it down the box, and I usually use razor blades because there's no relative movement between your thumb and the blade. You don't cut yourself. You cut the box but not yourself. But it's when you make that sort of movement or that sort of movement between the two, that's when you get cuts. So I've got to be careful actually even just putting my finger there, because I sometimes catch the... if I don't see it and I just catch the nail, I can end up cutting the nail. This blade is easily as sharp as a scalpel. Effectively here we're just cutting the gums, or the teeth into the gums, but making the gums visible. Hello Theo. And actually by doing this it makes the teeth look somewhat more menacing. Lady Zara is doing a lot of printing tonight. The one thing that's lucky is my laser printer prints two-sided, and that's the default. Save twice as much paper that way. No, Theo, leave the wire alone. Would you like to come and say hello to the stream? Can you come and say hello? Here we go. Here's a Theo. You gonna look at that camera over there? one there. This one. He's almost too big to sit on one hand. He's sort of set on my arm slightly, but he's actually in the palm of my left hand here. Are you sleepy? Yeah, you sleepy? He's heavy. Aren't you? You're getting a bit heavier every day. What are you at the moment? About 3.5 kilos. You having a bath? No? I find it funny when they cross the paws like this. I don't know if you can see, but he's got his front paws crossed. Want me to put you down? You're not actually all that bothered, are you? You don't really want to be here, but you don't really want to get down. You can tell he's not fantastically bothered to be here because he's not purring. You're really sleepy, yeah. Put you down so you can go to sleep somewhere. Yeah, we'll put him down. And you can go curl up somewhere. There you go. He'll sit there for a little bit and then, hello. And then he'll probably go find himself somewhere to curl up. I suspect half the people watching would rather watch Theo than me. And your pussycat streams do seem to be quite popular even here on Twitch, never mind on YouTube. Yeah, Projector Games when they broadcast, because they dual broadcast here on Twitch and on YouTube. But when he's broadcasting, he always has a camera on. He doesn't have a face camera. He has a camera on the cat box. And I forgot the name of his cats. I think the Maine Coons. Two of them. One of them's called Cephas. I think it's Cephas. Can't remember. Yeah, Cephas. Can't remember the name of the other one now. But there's always a camera on one of them curled up. Great big hairy thing, furry things there. And the Maine Coons, if you're not familiar with them, are big cats. And I don't mean tigers, but they are cats which are really large. I think some of them can be about 4 or 5 feet long. Or even longer. I know Lady Zara kind of wanted one. they're sort of mostly pedigree cats and they're not cheap cats. I think whatever the other one as well that she wanted, which is another big cat. Only it is more of a big cat because it's kind of like a domestic cat that's being bred with, is it a tiger or a leopard? One of them, but it is sort of a leopard, let's say a leopard domestic cat cross. And they are really big, but they are really affectionate cats apparently. And they talk quite a bit as well, and but they do like sort of being with you. Can't remember the name of them now. I'll have to ask Lady Zara after the stream. I think I'm going to have to make myself something like a big light that sits in front of me there somewhere, so that which sort of monitors OBS, so that when I push the mic button and mute it, it goes red or something. Something nice and big and visible. Maybe one of those alarm lanterns. Actually, that would be quite good. Sort of thing. Adafruit cell. It's kind of a red, amber, green stacking light. Just colour glasses, I think. But sort of, green and red would be quite good. Maybe orange flashing if there's something wrong with OBS, like it's crashed. Your current project. Okay. I thought I was going to get to know when it was finished. Or is it finished? Sneak peek, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to understand that. Because my first thought was the grey was a shadow, but it's not. And I'm trying to guess if the white is just sort of underneath, or whether that's part of it. Because it kind of, daft as it sounds, what it kind of looks like at the moment is a garage on the left, a door on the right, and something in the middle with a skylight. I know it's not, but it is the start of a house. So I was right. Oh well, there you go then. It must be a good design from their point of view. And I could tell what it was. It's a garage. Start of a house and the house door, I guess. With a path and a drive. That now makes more sense. Your garage doors are usually taller than house doors though. Because house doors are about 6'6", 7 foot. And I've just dropped something on the floor. And I know what I've got, but I can't find it. That has to have gone on the floor. Somewhere. No, I'll look for it later. No, it doesn't have to be ours, because the other thing I was going to say is garages tend to be longer than the wide as well. Well, sort of. Double garages are probably wider than they're long. It's a problem kind of I have, because we have a double garage. Lady Zara and I can just get both cars in. I have to put them in, because she's not very confident about doing it. And my car is about that much short of each front and back when I get it in. So there's about, what's that, about 3 inches. That'll be about what's 3 inches in centimetres? About 7.5 centimetres at the front and back, between the wall, the car and the garage door at the front. The house isn't that important. Well, I suppose you can live in a garage. People do. Or rather, they put the car in the house, so it's the house. Yeah, anyway. But yeah. There's a divide. Yeah, you have to do. Oh, I see what it is. I see what you mean. It's there as a prop, so that. Sorry, I've dropped a little slab of wax on the floor. I don't want to stand on it. Yeah, so the house is just a prop for the fence. Okay. Well, if it was a fence for Lady Zara, she'd want water jet cutout, or I suppose laser, but water jet cutouts of pussycats on the fence, with sharp spikes on the top to stop people climbing over the top. I don't know if in this country those sharp spikes are illegal. It's interesting actually, because we had some building work done, and the architect did a 3D mock-up of the work, actually in SketchUp, just like that, and it kind of bears a resemblance just because of the colours you've used, but. You done with dogs? Yeah, Lady. Actually, I was going to say Lady Zara doesn't care. She does. She wants a dog. But we talked about it the other night. She wants me like a husky, something, or a Pyrenean mountain dog. Because her ex-doctor's had one of those. Great big fluffy thing. I gather if it gets wet, it goes somewhat small. It's like pussycats. We had a pussycat called Maui, our first male pussycat, and he at one point, he used to sit on the side of the bath and watch you have a bath, but one day he jumped up and slipped and went straight in. He got out really quickly, but he went from being about sort of that sort of width, if you see what I mean, down to sort of this tiny little thing. It's amazing just how much further it is when it gets wet and they're little tiny. And then we did let us towel him dry. He didn't like being wet. He let us towel him dry, and because there was bubble bath in the water, he smelt flowery for the rest of the day, which was quite funny. Everywhere he went, you could smell. I can smell Maui's in the room. You have a dog that babysits the dog. I remember reading a story once about a cat that was babysitting a dog. So I say a puppy. They got can't remember much about it, except I can remember the fact that there was this adult cat, and it would wash the puppy, so kind of act like a mother, and it would show it where the tray was. And if it tried to do something it wasn't supposed to do, the cat would swipe at it to stop it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember you saying the other that you didn't particularly care for the haircut. Yeah. Shrink somewhat. Yes, Lady Zara isn't going to get a dog, because she would not be, especially one like a big dog like that, because it'd be me that'd have to take it out for walks. I know we could just let it run out in the back garden, and it would get, and even if it ran to the end and back a couple of times, it would have run about a quarter of a mile, but it will still need walking. And you could see Lady Zara, she got a husky wanting me to make a trap for it. So she wouldn't actually have to take it for a walk at all, she could just ride the trap and have the dog pull her. Now there's an interesting question. Does a horse-drawn vehicle need an MOT in the UK? It probably needs insurance. In fact, it'd probably be a good idea to have insurance, but and is a horse-drawn vehicle a zero carbon monoxide? Yeah, it probably is zero carbon monoxide. Sorry. We pay a road fund license basically based on the amount of CO2 emissions from the vehicle. So I guess a horse-drawn vehicle does have CO2 emissions. You know, I could see that being a trivia question, a trick question. You know, is what's lower, this particular car or a horse-drawn vehicle for CO2 emissions, or whatever the car? I don't know. Find one. But you know, and the trick would be the car would be the lower one. It'd be like those questions that you sometimes see for either adverts or you used to see in shopping centres in the UK, where they're promoting things like, I don't know, special margarine, and they'd do things like, you know, they'd basically ask you the question, you know, what had most fat, a McDonald's burger or an apple pie. and You knew because they were asking you the question that the obvious answer, which would be the obvious one, would be the McDonald's, was not the right answer, and yet people would still answer with the obvious answer. But yeah. I'm still intrigued by where this little pad... Oh, it didn't go anywhere, it went there. That's why I can't find it on the floor. Because it wasn't on the floor. Knife carving and chisel carving are kind of two different crafts, but enough useful to have both sets of tools. Yeah, our current fence is just a straight white powder coated fence, metal steel, but with blunt spikes on the top. So it's what's the spike? A bit like at the centre of fleur de lis, but without the side pieces. And it's powder coated in the hope that it won't rust. At least we don't have to paint it. Being an airbrush artist does have its advantage though when it comes to painting garden fences, because I've got a big compressor, I've got a touch-up gun, which is what I got for doing clear coating, which is quite large, and it means I can put fence paint in and I can spray the fence. It's quite useful being able to do things like that. It makes it a lot more enjoyable than trying to get in with a brush, and a lot less messy, and a lot more fun, plus I get to practice my airbrushing. Anyway, I also have it now, high volume, low pressure spray gun, which I actually used to paint a house with. And it's rather amazing how my experience of airbrushing helped do that quite a bit as well. If you get used to doing things like keeping what they call a wet edge and getting even coverage and that sort of thing, which I understand is often hard for beginners using those sorts of tools. You never know when hobbies can come in really useful. And having said which, I did, when I first painted out one of our fences with the touch-up gun, I used my airbrush compressor, or I used the larger airbrush compressor, the larger compressor that I had, which I'd actually got to do the clear coating with, because my airbrush compressor won't actually run a big airbrush or a big gun, and it was what they describe as a semi-silent compressor. Not because it was a silent compressor, which you can get, but because it was a compressor in a foam, basically in a foam box. But it would seem that they weren't expecting it to be used for painting fences. I think it's probably meant to be used more for nailers, because it overheated and seized. So, rip one compressor. At which point then I had to buy a new one. But at that point I had learnt that the importance of getting the rating of it properly, or correct. So I had to spend ages working out just what the specs of the compressor would need to be. Which is not an easy thing to do. You've got things like what they call duty cycles, how long it can run for, and and then how long it has to rest to cool off. And in the period where it's cooling off, if you're using air continuously, the tank has to be big enough to supply the air that you want whilst the compressor's off. So you don't want to have to wait 10 minutes before you fill the tank up again so that you can carry on. The compressor itself then has to be big enough to fill the tank in the time it's got before it has to shut off to sufficient pressure to maintain the pressure that you need. There's a lot of calculations in that. And a lot of things that catch you out, like, I forgot what atmospheric pressure is now. But all the pressures in a tank are relative to atmospheric pressure. So you've got to get to 2 atmospheres of pressure, technically, to have one tank full of air. Only you've got 2 tanks full of air, but you can only use one of it, because when you get down to atmospheric pressure, the tank's still full, but it doesn't give out any air. Okay, before I go that far down, let's sort this top bit. Okay. And just like with the chisel, although I am kind of using this very much like a pencil, I'm still using my other hand here to stabilise it, to ensure the blade only goes where I want it to go, and basically just maintain the safety. And even with a knife, it's still the same rules basically. Cut the wood, don't pull it. It's a slightly different skill set using a knife than it is to using a chisel, but there's a lot of comparable things between them, you know, like holding it in a safe way, you know, moving it, controlling it, and things like that. So, you know, a lot of the skills are transferable, as they say. Now, because I've recently cut some of that wood, it's standing out because it's a lighter colour or it's a different colour, so that will blend in as the wood ages and oxidizes just a little bit. So we've done the top half, and I'm going to deafen you. I'm not going to mute the microphone because I'm just as likely to forget to unmute it. Alright, clear. So for once he's asleep under my other chair, but he didn't particularly care for the vacuum, did you? So did I wake you up? We're going to stop for tonight because I've done the top set. What we've done tonight is we've ground all the teeth down so they're below the gum line. What I've now been doing on the top here is cutting into them so that what we've got is a not very good representation of them being into the gum, and I might just round that off a little bit now, but round the tops off, not the edges. But at least it kind of looks more teeth-like with the gums, kind of like that. What we may do, I think, is apply some pyrography perhaps to the gums, not to the teeth. We'll keep the teeth light, but apply some pyrography to the gums so that they're slightly darker. We may even do something like make the lips, which could be a good move, in dark pyrography. I think it might be good to add a little bit because it will just sort of make the teeth jump out at you. So sort of cut all those so they're more defined now. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is do the same thing on the bottom. They're all cut roughly below the gum line. We're going to emphasise them, cut the edges out like we've done there, and then probably do some more work to get rid of stuff in the mouth cavity. So we'll take the mouth cavity deeper so it's more in shadow. Because at the moment it looks like he's got a mouthful of porridge, or that spray foam that building constructors use. But it does look rather like that spray foam stuff. And then we've still got the fur to do up here, or hair, and this to make deeper down there, and then we can round this off a little bit more. But it's coming on. So I am going to tidy up. Actually, I don't have a lot tonight, which is good. Because most of it has been very fine work. Most of the a lot of the dust that we got from using the power tool we've already vacuumed up, so it will be a bit quicker to clear up tonight. So I'm going to say, if you want to see some more of this, tomorrow night from 7 PM approximately, subject to me finishing an evening meal. That's UK time 7 PM. It's on GMT. Also the same as UTC at the moment. Don't know how long. But so if you would like to watch, push the follow button up there and get Twitch to tell you when I'm live. Or if you would like, follow me on Twitter. I'm at Sourganart. And I will tweet before I go live. I've even got a button to do it now, which makes it easier to remember. And I look forward to seeing you on that stream. Wolfie, good luck with your fence design. I look forward to seeing what it turns out to be. Could be interesting. What you ought to do, or what you could do, is broadcast your design work as you're doing it. That way you'd be able to do it and build up a channel. You never know, people might be interested in designing a fence. I'm kind of laughing because it strikes me as that's the sort of thing that people quite possibly would watch. But anyway, I shall look forward to seeing you. I don't know, be an interesting thing to try at some point. I mean, you get people. There is a stream where which is just watching technicians, mechanics working on cars, and people watch that. And that's not anybody talking, and anybody that just seems as anybody doing anything with 3D design software does seem to get people watching as well. So you never know. I mean, the other way of looking at it, Wolfie, is If you don't stream it, nobody will watch. If you do stream it, you still do it and get it done, but people might watch you do it. That's kind of the way I look at this, you know. If I don't stream, nobody's going to see me do it. If I do stream, nobody may watch, but at least they have the chance. And I still get to do all the artwork that I do, and it actually forces me to do the artwork, so which is kind of the purpose. One of the purposes is to get me to actually do art as opposed to just sit watch other people do it. Yeah. With that, I'm going to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching, Wolfie, and anybody else who's watching. Hope to see you on the next stream. Bye for now.